What scares you most about your future?
Maybe not fulfilling a lot of other people's dreams.
The phenomenon is taking over.
I had the poise to handle any circumstance.
One of the great performances of all time.
Adversity.
What a tough defeat for LeBron. Not 4, not 5.
Pressure.
The Miami Heat have won the title.
That's what it's all about right here.
My city, I love you. I'm back.
Cleveland, this is for you.
I think it was a God-given ability, but that only take you so far.
And I want my damn respect, too.
LeBron for the record.
To try to play at a high level is very taxing. It's a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, and a lot of long hours. But if you love the game and you love the process and you love being great, then you don't mind.
All the feels. Welcome back to NBA Today, presented by Intuit Credit Karma. That was a 19-year-old LeBron James about to begin his NBA career. Now, his son, Bronny James, who is 19, by the way, is currently working out at the NBA Combine in front of scouts, just beginning his own journey to the professional level. Now, those words from LeBron over 20 years ago feel so relevant today when discussing Bronny. So let's go from father to son. Take a listen.
No, never. My dream has always just been to put my name out, make a name for myself, and of course get to the NBA. I never thought about playing with my dad, but he's brought it up a couple times. Everyone's heard this before. I just want to, have people know my name is Bronny James, and not being, identified as just LeBron James' son. I feel like that would be a great end goal.
Mark, you were just in Chicago for the Combine.
Yeah.
What are the scouts saying about Bronny?
Well, they wanted to reserve judgment until they saw him. They did see he was listed as 6'1", and they did see he had a 40.5 vert. But I was like, what would you do right now before he goes and plays? What would you do? And they said, we wouldn't draft him. Both of them said they would not draft him. I said, okay, let me give him a couple days. Let's see what happens after they watch him play. Now, this is their take after watching him play. Scout 1. I still don't think he's ready, but he did some good things. He's on the smaller side, so he's going to have to be elite on defense. You can see he has good vision, makes right passes, takes good shots. He's probably going to need more time. If the Lakers don't draft him, I don't see anyone drafting him. Teams would want him on a two-way, and I don't think Clutch would want that. It gets a little tougher. The other scout I talked to, positional athlete, doesn't function as an elite athlete, tweener stuck between two positions. Should be a point guard based on his size, but he can't run an offense. He's handicapped as an undersized shooting guard because he can't shoot. 0-4 on threes on one day, 1 for 3 the other day. Needs screens to create space, and his only scoring came on paint touch floaters and can only go left. His strength is supposed to be defensively, but he's a switch matchup. Every bigger player who switched on him scored. He's a poor man's Davion Mitchell. He is not an NBA prospect, in my opinion. Not my words, words of 2 veteran NBA scouts.
Look, you have to commend his professionalism because when they asked him the questions, he answered almost perfectly.
Yeah.
I saw him work out, and he was shooting the ball well. He had the 40-inch vertical. So in some fairness, he did himself some credit coming from college where he didn't have the numbers showing up in the Combine. But I do like the comp because Davion Mitchell is what he said.
He said a poor man's Davion.
But still, at least Bronny understands that that is the goal. Davion Mitchell, Drew Holiday, Derek White, that is the goal, and I respect him for that.
But they did say, what is the rush?
I mean, it's his choice.
Look, Davion Mitchell was a lottery pick, okay?
Yeah,
and he's a very good defensive player.
Poor man's Davion Mitchell.
But overall, when you're LeBron James' son, much is going to be made about himself, his measurements at the Combine. He killed the three-point competition, shooting that star drill, showing his athletic skills in hopes of improving his draft stock. And there's no one better to bring in on this than our draft expert, Jonathan Givony. Jonathan, you've been at the NBA Combine all week in Chicago, and you've seen Bronny's workouts in person. I know you will have plenty of mocks from now until June 26th, but where are you projecting Bronny James today?
Sinead, this was a positive week in Chicago for Bronny James. He's moved into the late second round of our latest projections. We're going to have him at 54 in our next update. That's all the way from the back end of our top 100 talking to NBA people out here, they feel like he's legitimized himself as a real NBA prospect. He's not just some kind of sideshow, LeBron's son that, the cameras are following him, which that is the case with him. But I just think that the way he shot the ball in drills, the athletic testing, his first day in the 5-on-5 was pretty bad, but yesterday played a great role helping his team to a win, playing good defense, making shots, just showing his feel for the game, his versatility. People love his attitude, his enthusiasm, the way that he understands the type of player that he is. This was a very good week for Bronny James in Chicago.
Yeah, just watching the videos, I've really loved his professionalism. But we all know that there are never uniform opinions on any draft prospect, especially those that are not in the lottery. So it's truly subjective. What are you, though, hearing from scouts about Bronny's draft profile overall?
Bronny James is a very polarizing player, both in the media and among fans, and also with NBA scouts. There is a segment of the NBA scouting population who have already decided a long time ago that Bronny James is not a real basketball player, and they want nothing to do with him. And he could go and have a triple-double in his next game, and they'd still be set on the fact that he's not an NBA player. And the only reason that we're talking about him is because of his last name. Now, there is some truth to that. That's where a lot of the intention comes from. But Bronny has done a good job of showing that he deserves to be on the radar. He was just as good as a lot of the other players that played 5-on-5. And he's a guy that has a real role at the NBA level as a 3-and-D off guard who can make shots, defend his position, play with energy. I compare him to like a Gabe Vincent or a Gary Harris type player.
Interesting. Gabe Vincent, Gary Harris. I know he said Davion Mitchell, Drew Holiday. Those are the type of guys he looks up to. But still, I know there are a lot of opinions. In your mock, I trust. So thank you so much, Jonathan, for always stopping by to prep us ahead of the big day for these young men. We appreciate you.
When I'm looking at Bronny, do I think he could be a pro? Absolutely. He's going to be a role player as a professional. That's okay. I could see his ceiling if he reaches ceiling of being an Eric Bledsoe type player, but that's in years to come. It's going to be a development process. He's going to have to go to the right organization that's going to be willing to be patient with him. But at the end of the day, right, we're talking about Bronny, and my thing is I want him to write his own book. And I didn't like when LeBron showed up to the draft combine for the simple fact that if you're trying to detach yourself from him, then you don't show up. You let him have his moment.
Look, here's what I liked. I like that we finally heard from Bronny. I know you did like the first interview with Bronny a couple of years ago at the combine up there, or the Hoop Summit up in Portland. But we have not heard that much from him in his own voice, in his own words. I actually like that he said, that's my dad's dream to play together. Like, I like that he addressed that he knows where he stands. Because until this, we've kind of just seen him post on Instagram. Like, we've seen highlight videos, but he has not spoken for himself all that much. And so I think that's a good sign. I think what I'm hearing, look, he's not a Nepo baby, okay? That's what you're basically saying. Like, he's a legitimate NBA player. Now, is he a starter? Is he an all-star? Not at this point in his development. Can he get a two-way contract someplace? Is that the best path for him? I don't know. I mean, and I think that's where the fact they had a coaching change at USC, that he's in the draft, that he kind of lost some of his offseason and this season because of his health issues. That's where he needs some more time to bake, clearly. But where's the best time for him to bake? Is it in the NBA on a roster where people are invested in his development? Or is it in a college where he has another coach that he feels comfortable with?
You can only make this decision once, right? And I also asked the scouts, does him going back to college improve his draft stock? One of the scouts said, I do think in 4 years or after 4 years, he's a legitimate NBA player. The other one said, no, I just see him as an old senior.
Hey, look, let me say this. We have to stop. We have to stop. As the media and everybody else shining the light on Bronny, because it's other players that are deserve our attention, right? The lottery guys, the guys that are actually that are going to get drafted in the first round. Like, we're talking about a guy, a young man, that's possibly going to go late second round or not getting drafted at all. I've never, in my 4 years of working here, I've never sat on the table where we'll talk about a second-round pick.
But this is LeBron James' son, and that is a legitimate storyline that one of the greatest of all times has a son trying to play in the NBA at the same time.
And you have to give Bronny credit for actually trying to say the right things and showing up in the right places. And at the end of the day,
and by the way, I like seeing LeBron in the stands as a proud dad. I like that. That's a great example for fatherhood.
He's the #1 scorer in NBA.
What does that have to do with his son being at the draft
Scottie
combine?
Pippen's kid was playing on the Lakers a couple
we
years
didn't shine the light on Scottie Pippen's son like this. We can't move the goalposts and feel like we go do it when it's convenient for us.
When we say Nepo baby, that means that you have the same career, parents to child. And so for those
somebody's a Hollywood producer, their son or daughter gets a job.
But if he has the same dreams and he does get a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, this is the guy who has. But can we talk about this, y'all? This is a guy who's given his life to the game, LeBron James. And if the byproduct is that Bronny gets a little bit of a nod,
maybe there is though.
Maybe that's okay.
Because right now LeBron is still at the peak of his game where he has the leverage to maybe get the Lakers to draft his son.
And guess what? Maybe the team.
Do you want it that way?
I wouldn't. However, if it's got to be done, that's the only way. That's the only way.
Look, I want Bronny to be successful.
I think all of us do.
But I'm also, but I'm also being a realist here.
Yeah.
Like we're literally spending 10 to 12, huh?
Look, if Stone, my favorite guy, Stone, is at the NBA Combine, I bet you will be working.
I get out of his way. I get out of his way.
Yeah.
I get out of his way. See, here's the thing, right? Again, we're talking about a young man who's projected to go late second round, early first round. Like, I get it, man, but it's like, damn.
But if we're going to fault the media for talking about it, fault the teams that actually might make the decision.
And I do think there's more teams than Lakers that would take him.
Maybe not necessarily for his talents right now. It might be
I want to hear from the team.
The overall benefits of
I want to hear from the
team.
You don't see how many years, all year, you always see teams draft guys in Europe who are stashing overseas for another year.
Get ready for the second day of the draft on our network to be Bronny James Day.